everybody, welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge and we're doing top 5 Premier League managers of all time. This is about to get heated and there are a few controversial ones, so get involved below. And don't forget, you can listen to the full podcast where we talk about all this and a lot more through the link in the description. But first, before we get started, let's hear from our sponsor.
Hi, it's me, Will Brazier. I know you're expecting Mark, but isn't this a refreshing change? But not as refreshing as Air Up. Do you see what I did there? This clip is sponsored by Air Up and the amazing science behind their water revolution. With Air Up, every sip is a revelation. It uses scent to transform normal water into an absolute taste sensation, and it has no extra additives. This isn't just hydration, this is a sensory revolution, with each sip better than the last and more refreshing each time. It's got no sugar, no calories, much like your traditional flavoured drinks. And do you know what's even more refreshing? Hit the link in the description below. Use the code GOLD10 for 10% off site-wide. But act quick, the deal is going quicker than my hopes for Birmingham City. Thanks for Air Up for sponsoring this clip, and don't forget to hit the link below.
I mean, first of all, I'm going to say, Will, is there any opposition to these 5? We've got Mourinho, we've got Pep, we've got Sir Alex, we've got Klopp, and we've got Wenger. Does anybody else come into the debate of top 5 Premier League managers of all time?
Well, you got to be surely looking at like Alex McLeish in there. Obviously, what he did at Birmingham City was
Yeah, we're not having any of this rubbish. I mean, I was more thinking about Kenny Dalglish winning it with Blackburn.
Claudio Ranieri?
Ranieri winning it with Leicester. But I don't think... I mean, they are... Well... Klopp's the same as Kenny Dalglish. He's the same as Ranieri. He's only won it once, but I think there's mitigating circumstances to that. But we want to be fair. Maybe you, those listening, those watching, you might have a name that you want to throw in there. There are certainly other Premier League managers who've won the Premier League. I think Ranieri's takes... You could throw Ranieri in there for the simple fact that he won it with Leicester, but I'm not.
I'd like to do a sort of B-Tech version of this, of like, you know, not top 5 managers of all time, but like those managers of a Steve Bruce, a Pardew, a real shithouse top 5, because that would be, in my eyes, maybe even better content.
Be very niche, and you do well to probably get 500 listens. But we're doing top 5 Premier League managers of all time because they are the top 5 Premier League managers of all time. Right, in at number 5.
Go on.
I mean, I don't know what your top 5 is, so I suppose I'll go with my 5 and then you'll go with your 5. In at number 5 for me is Jurgen Klopp. The reason I've put him in the top 5 is he's only won the Premier League once. It's nothing to do with recency bias that he's going to retire. It's quite simply because I remember the words, I've got the receipts of WhatsApp sent to Liverpool fans, I'll die before you win the Premier League. And they were like, you're planning on walking in front of a bus? I said, no, I'm planning on living till 108. You will never win the Premier League, and that's a fact. And then Jurgen Klopp came along. Even then, I didn't think they were going to win the league. And the way that he took a Liverpool team that was so successful when I grew up, I mean, I cannot tell you. People sometimes, you were talking about when you had oysters and you were stuck on the toilet, it was coming out of both ends.
Yeah.
I have the similar dissatisfaction towards the tight-fitting, candy Liverpool top of the late 80s. Right. I saw that and made me wanted to throw up because they were so good. Premier League era comes along. They've never won it. Jurgen Klopp rebuilds a club that I just think was always going to fail, and probably should have more Premier Leagues than he's got as well. I mean, he might have 2 by the end of the season, but I certainly think Man City, whether they've done the 1-1-5 or not, it's still a juggernaut that in other eras you would have thought Klopp would have won it maybe 2-3 times. So for me, Jurgen Klopp goes in at number 5 as the all-time Premier League manager.
Yeah, well, let me critique yours and we'll go through it that way. And I think the main thing with this top 5 list is you want to bring managers in that have been impactful. Obviously, they've got to have the honours there, but when Jurgen Klopp came in, there was just, as well as on the field, there was just this, it tied in with the sort of breed of players coming in, changing attitudes of like the hugging, everything like that. It felt like the real father figure.
Unity.
Yeah, exactly. Community, everything going well. And he turned round a real shithouse of a Liverpool team, didn't he?
You know, look, long time ago, nothing to do with the present. There was a war called World War One. They used to go up out the trenches over a ladder. I wouldn't be going up it, but if Jurgen Klopp was saying we're going, I think I probably would consider it. Yeah. Apart from the fact he's a Liverpool manager, I'd say up yours, not going to follow you. But yeah, he has brought something into a club. Probably a little similar to what Man United have got at the moment, where great club, great fans, massive following, massive history, but you get locked into years and years of mistakes. so much so that you think this is going to take something amazing to turn it around. And I think Jurgen Klopp was that.
I think the biggest thing for Jurgen Klopp and the biggest sort of honour for him is the way that you like him so much as a Man United fan.
I'm not the only Man United fan.
No, not at
I'm
all.
not the only man. And you're right.
And
I don't
fans.
know how Liverpool fans felt about Sir Alex. I think they actually disliked him intensely. But Jurgen Klopp, most Man United fans I speak to, yeah, there is a respect there because begrudgingly, I think it coincides with United being really crap as well.
Yeah.
I think if United were competing with them, there'd be more disdain. But yeah, we've never been close. So in at number 4, and tell me if you disagree with any of these at the end, or we'll jump in. In at number 4, this might be controversial. I've gone with Jose Mourinho in at number 4.
Interesting.
Yeah, which means that I'm putting Wenger above him, Pep above him, and obviously Sir Alex. But you want to say something about this?
No, I know why you've put Jose in at number 4, really, because you're reflecting back on that Manchester United job, and you've still got a bit of bitterness towards him, I think, and a bit of sourness. And if you don't admit it, you're in the wrong.
Actually, I should have said that as a retainer. I'm not including the fact that Mourinho's fell off. Look at Wenger's last few years, stayed way too long. I'm actually talking about the success. I think what Jose Mourinho did to come in from Porto and take a team like Chelsea that had no pedigree of winning Premier Leagues. And yeah, there'd been a lot of groundwork done. Ranieri, funnily enough, there was a lot of money swilling around, and he came into a team that wasn't particularly far off, but he came in with brilliance. And he's won 3 Premier League titles, all at Chelsea, of course. Yeah, obviously it failed at United. I wanted him at United. But I think Jose Mourinho, as a trailblazer in the Premier League, coming in from Porto, what he did that first few years. I mean, haven't they got some ridiculous goals conceded record? But they also, I remember like the likes of Damien Duff and Robben, they were banging so many goals in. And I was really concerned because it was United who had to respond to that. And it made Sir Alex build another team with the likes of Ronaldo and Rooney. And we did respond to it. And we did end up winning 3 Premier Leagues in a row after that as well. But when they first came in, that first year of Chelsea with Mourinho and Drogba, and I was just like, oh my God. I thought they were an absolute juggernaut, the original Manchester City, I suppose. But he would be number 4 because I think the number 3 had more impact on the Premier League.
Yeah, no, and looking further down the list, I'd probably have to agree. But I think the impact in terms of not only just everything that you've said, but like the way that they had that home record for so long and it was so impactful, and then also just the theatre of Jose as well, which I think brought so much in terms of what Sir Alex was managing to do with taking pressure off players and different post-match interviews. Jose dialed up to 10. I mean, he'd get in the laundry basket, wouldn't he, on a stadium ban? I just think at that time, he's probably that Jurgen Klopp of like the manager that you'd want to most play for at that time.
And I think looking back on it, because it was a shorter period of time than I thought it was going to be, I look back on that period with a lot more respect than I did at the time, because I wish I'd enjoyed it more, because he was box office. He was, completely arrogant and special. But my number 3, and the reason I'm going to put Arsene Wenger at number 3 ahead of Jose Mourinho is, and I don't want to talk about age, but I think when I see people saying, De Bruyne is the best midfielder of all time, and I look at them and they're probably about 20, I think, but you lived up your mum's chuff for half of the Premier League era. Like, you can't talk about Scholes or Lampard or Gerrard because you didn't see it happen. And this is the upside of age. I've seen the whole Premier League.
You were out your mum's chuff.
I was out, and happily out for many years before the Premier League happened.
And
I've got no intention of going anywhere near that, as he laughs in the background. But no, I think that Wenger, I remember the Wenger. And in some ways it's similar to Arsenal of what Klopp did. Man United were dominant when, because remember, Man United basically dominated the Premier League from the start. We won the first Premier League. We had a great team in 94 with the likes of Hughes and Cantona and Bruce, etc. And I think Wenger came in around probably 96, something like that. And Arsenal at that point were a past good club. More recently, George Graham had won the title, I think, in 91 or something like that. But he rebuilt Arsenal in a completely different identity. Arsenal were a park the bus, grind out results. He turned them into the best. I mean, the best period of rivalry in the Premier League for me is Man United and Arsenal in the late 90s. He revolutionised the drinking cultures, the fitness, the training, the football. They were, and again, I look back on it now with more fondness and respect than I did at the time, because they're going toe-to-toe with United and you just dislike them. But he was revolutionary, Wenger, for the Premier League. And not only that, I think he is probably, with Sir Alex, the two-man, and Pep in the modern day, not only were they successful and he won 3 Premier League titles, he also revolutionised the Premier League. Like so many other clubs copied what he did in relation to style, fitness, professionalism. And I get people will put Mourinho above him because he's more popular. But if you've watched the entire of the Premier League, it's a recency bias. Wenger had such a massive impact. And also he's damaged a little bit by the fact that he stayed on too long.
Yeah, and then just on the Jose Wenger argument as well, not to blow smoke up your chuff, but I think what the thing was there is that Arsene had a bigger overhaul to do than Jose.
Yeah.
Like the groundwork was already put in by Ranieri, where Wenger was inheriting the Tuesday club. I think the eating habits, everything like that, and coming from Japan as well, he was dismissed by Alex Ferguson, everything like that.
The rivalry was absolutely incredible as well.
Yeah, and
the tunnel at Highbury.
Yeah, exactly. So those were the box office games, and he did deliver in a lot of those seasons and produce something that's never been done and still hasn't been done, an invincible season.
It'll kick off in the comments, and by all means get your top fives in. I mean, I do think Wenger versus Jose is a big debate, and actually if you take it away from the Premier League, obviously Mourinho wins because he's won Champions Leagues, but we're talking Premier League, so it has to be based on what your Premier League impact is. Mourinho's the better coach than Wenger for his whole career, what he's done, what he did at Porto and Inter and Real Madrid, but for Premier League, I'd put Wenger ahead. Number 2, very easy. We probably spent more time talking about 3, 4 and 5 here, but Pep Guardiola slips in at number 2 very, very comfortably. We're talking Premier League here. I think there are mitigating circumstances. He again walked into a club that had already won the Premier League at Man City. Obviously, we know there was a lot of money swilling around. It was, how many right backs do you want before you have that one? But what you can't deny is that there's a lot of teams in the Premier League now who are pressing high up the pitch, passing between the lines, replicating in their own way what Man City brought to the Premier League. He's produced 2/3 really good teams. Although it's about the Premier League, when you win a treble and the Premier League, you've got to take into account the volume of games that takes. Development of players, good recruitment, style of football, domination. Yeah, he's had a helping hand, but I still think that you've got to put him above the rest for the impact he's had on the Premier League.
Well, I think a good thing to do, if you want to see it in the comments as well, is let us be a better conversation maybe to have off the back of this as well as like best managers of all time, because the way Pep has changed football of like, I've had to sit through Birmingham City managers trying to pass out from the back, and that is thanks to Pep, which is right and wrong.
Knock him down.
Yeah, all the way down the pyramid. I mean, we're at Solihull Moors and probably they try and pass out at the back as well, don't they? So I think that has gone from top to bottom, but that's not a Premier League thing. That is obviously more of a wider football thing. And he's just relentless, and like maybe it'll come to a point with like Jurgen Klopp, with like he obviously put so much in to everything that maybe next year or the season after, it'd be interesting if he can get 2 or 3 more Premier Leagues in and we revisit this conversation. Will he beat number 1? But yeah, a happy number 2, which is with me Saturday night after a few too many Guinnesses.
I was going to say we always like a happy number 2, less wipes and nice. Anyway, number 1. We go to Sir Alex Ferguson, and if anybody is debating this, then football's not for you. Please leave, turn off the podcast, and never come back, because Sir Alex Ferguson, again, it can only be recency bias. This is a guy that came into a broken club in 1986, remodelled it, rebuilt it, recultured it, and then on top of that has won way more Premier League titles than anybody else, with 3, 4 teams, you could argue maybe even 5. Just an absolute footballing giant and great, and nobody lays a glove on him. And even if Pep repeated the amount of titles that he's won, I'd still say, but Pep walked into a club that was there for him to be successful in. Sir Alex Ferguson rebuilt a football club, much the same way that Wenger and Klopp have, in my opinion, as well. So it's not, I don't even need to debate it. He is quite comfortably the greatest Premier League manager by a long, long way.
I think it would be interesting if Pep could stay on for 3 or more. Say you got the same amount of titles, and I know what you're saying about having the resource at the start of it, but then I do think the Premier League is a lot stronger in terms of Sir Alex Ferguson would be going up against, like a contender each season, whether it was Wenger at the start, then obviously a bit of Mourinho, Rafa Benitez, and I was going to say beat them all off. That's obviously a different way of doing it. But I think if Pep can do it, we look at we've been speaking about a top 4, top 5. The league's only going to get stronger, so I wonder if that will come into play maybe but that is if, buts and maybes. It's still Alex Ferguson number 1, and no one is going to knock him off the perch.
I think the interesting thing with Sir Alex is if you look at our top 5, so Klopp 5, Mourinho 4, Wenger 3, Pep 2, and Sir Alex number 1, Sir Alex has beaten off 3 and 4, whereas Pep has beaten off Klopp. Yeah. Just it sounded better when I was when
I gave you forewarning as well.
I know. I sort of carried on, but yeah, I mean, I'd never really thought of it like that. But 2 of the top 5, Sir Alex Ferguson went toe to toe with and outlasted in a sense. Whereas Pep, I think the Premier League is harder, but also, he's really only had to deal with Klopp.
Yeah, and we're also living in a world where Sir Alex Ferguson would have been sacked if it's the same sort of ramifications of today's world. He wouldn't have been given the time that managers don't get now. So,
but I think that's changing. I do think that's changing. We spoke about it this year, haven't we? There's a lot less managers been sacked this year, and that's for the good. Anyway, get your comments in below. Let us know what you think about top 5 Premier League managers of all time.